Shalom, call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Kahakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than never, the would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, according to the Holy Bible, that is going to be the ruling class here on earth, the judges, the judge over all nations of all people, under the authority of who the world fraudulently and ignorantly call JC, all right? The 12 tribes, 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, which primarily make up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? And the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. It is an Israelite bloodline thing, and the Israelites have been scattered among all people and have yet to be gathered up. The people over in the land, in the Holy Land, are frauds. They're the converts part 2. The same people converted twice. Once under the authority of John Hyrcanus, and second under the authority of Kagan Bullen. All right? Twice they have done so. And to the rest of the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm, coming at you with another lesson in truth from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, so as the perpetual victim villains constantly try to orchestrate the news and create the narrative that they're under attack. They're actually on the attack. You know, 2 more so-called black men were hung. And neither one, they're trying to say that they're suicides. One of them had broken bones before. So he broke his own bones and then hung himself. You know, and all this coming after Charlie Dirk's death. And Charlie Dirk was killed by a so-called white man, right? Believed that it was, and you know, the evidence is leaning more toward, you know, the ish. You know, that one organization that starts with an M that unalives and disappears and does overthrows and things like that with another organization that starts with a C. All right. These alphabet gangs. Okay. But I'm going to play, you can see the name of the video and it's on Secular Talk. I'm going to play about 5.5 minutes of this video. I literally have about 30, 40 precepts. I don't even know if I'm going to get to them all. All right. But all these things popped in my head. I just started writing them down. And I think I'm going to call this video Victim Villains Sniper Game. All right. Victim Villains, or let me pause. Let me say it correctly. The villain victims sniper game, all right? Because they're really the villains playing the victim, all right? And that's worldwide, wherever they are, okay? So I'm going to read, first scripture is going to be Proverbs 30 and 14. And it reads, there is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from the earth and the needy from among men. All right, so when you set up a people to where you cut off their food and their water, and after weeks and months of being malnutrition, you set out water and sandwiches and food and rice, and then you unalive these people as they go to get it. women and children included. All right. And to speak on the sniper thing, it's a skill, but I'm just going to outright call it for what it is. The snipers in warfare, all right, is one of the most dishonorable, not honorable things that men of war has ever seen. All right. It really is. It's a very cowardice way to fight. And I know that sometimes you got to have one nowadays, because the other guys, just like guys, you people who carry guns, they're not carrying guns because they're afraid. They're carrying guns because other people have them. So now that you've brought this cowardice-like thing into the frame, it's unfortunately it's probably here to stay until the Lord comes back. But it is one of the most cowardice things that you could do, especially to an honorable warrior, or even worse, to a person who's not a combatant at all, a child, a woman. Okay, so with that being said,
absolutely insane that Netanyahu definitely does not want you to see. Israel does not want you to see these stories. So let's start with this one in The Intercept. Lauren Boebert's measure received no discussion when it was approved by the House on a voice vote as part of a package of amendments to the budget bill Tuesday. The House just passed a bill punishing politically motivated boycotts of Israel. Far-right Representative Lauren Boebert added an amendment to the Pentagon budget that targets the BDS movement against Israel. So you cannot get a contract with the government, I believe it's the Pentagon in particular, if you're critical of Israel, if you support a boycott of Israel. This was slipped in after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, when nobody was paying attention.
So while no one was paying attention, these people who are not Americans have once again made life very difficult for Americans, and to support themselves and their, So literally at this point, Americans really have become the servants of the Israelis. You're now paying for your tax dollars is now paying for their soldiers, is paying for their retired soldiers, is paying their pensions. All right. And you're paying for their medical, they get free medical. They get subsidized schooling. So while Americans are here struggling to make ends meet, struggling with college debt and school debt, the Israelis basically get a free ride off of you. And you get to go enlist and go die for them. All right. Yeah. And then if you speak against it, and not in a rude fashion, if you bring it up, you're a bad guy, you're a bad person, you're anti-Semitic, you get demonized for it. Because somehow they're victims. And I can understand how you have so much power, so much guns, so many weapons, missiles, nuclear-powered nation, but yet you're always the victim, but you're always attacking everyone around you. But somehow you're the victim. This is the book of Psalms 58 and 3. And it reads, "The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies."
Is one of the things that got through. So look at this. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Brian Mast, who is an Israel-only former IDF soldier, has sponsored a bill to give Secretary Rubio the ability to strip Americans of their U.S. passport if they criticize Israel.
Wow.
From The Intercept, new bill would give Marco Rubio thought police power to revoke U.S. passports. So they already did something like this for, remember Rumeysa Ozturk, who wrote an op-ed that was critical of Israel, and they basically tried to take away her visa. Marco Rubio wants the ability to be able to say, if you support BDS, if you criticize Israel, we have the right to now no longer allow you to leave the country. We can take your passport away from you.
So if you basically do what I'm doing now, if you say, well, genocide is wrong, colonialism is wrong, especially in 2025, going on 26, that's enough to where, oh, well, we're going to take your passport, you can't travel. They're treading all over the law of the land, man. And America, not the home of the brave, but the home of the bendovers and take it. Boy, Americans stay bent over for the Israelis. They stay on their knees and stay bent over for the Israelis.
This is all happening at the same time. It's all happening at the same time. Right, immediately after Charlie Kirk was killed, the whole world is focused on that. You get all these super sketchy Israel lobby-supported bills that, are... This one was just proposed. The other one was passed. It was actually passed. Then I got to give you this. Rutger Bregman says the following. Devastating new investigation by Dutch newspaper De Volkskrant. 15...
Ooh, now this is heavy now. All right? Mind what you're looking at. Can't show you too much. But that's a child. All right? And before I even play it, look, the Lord is going to destroy those imposters, and America's gonna get wiped out, and those imposters are gonna get wiped out. Thus saith the Bible. All right. Only difference is that land over there will be rebuilt again. America, according to the Bible, will just be a desert. All right. And and those people over there are Edomites. Ezekiel 36:5, the 36th chapter, clearly tells you that Edom is in the Holy Land. That Edom is basically in rulership of the whole world upon the return of the Lord. All right, and even the rabbis have been telling you for years now, right? Especially these last couple years, that Western Christianity, European, and the Roman Christianity is Edom. It's the house of Esau. All right. And they are. But guess what? So are they. This is Joel 3:19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed the innocent blood in their land, and they're continuing to shed blood in that land of people, But that's Ishmael over there getting judgment for what they did to the children of Israel. This is the judgment now falling upon the heathen. Because all these heathen, especially Ishmael, knew who we were all along. Right? You have no idea how many times that I've had conversations and seen conversations videotaped with Ishmaelites, what you call Arabs, admitting that they know that the Negroes are the sons of Jacob, that they're Israelites. And, they're very well aware of that. But here, let's listen to this villain victim cruelty. Once again, the title of this video will more than likely be Villain Victims Sniper Game. Something to that effect.
International doctors report that at least 114 Palestinian children with single gunshot wounds to the head and chest.
God damn.
Injuries, forensic experts say, are consistent with aimed fire. So they did a detailed, deep dive investigation, and they found 15 doctors are now risking everything to come forward and say, we have 114 specific examples of Palestinian kids being shot in the head. So let me walk you through it. I'm going to warn you in advance, this stuff is ugly. You might want to blur out some of the more extreme gore here, because we're risking, if I just show it all, what we're risking is it'll get age restricted. We don't want that. We want as many people to see this as possible. So maybe, blur out some of the stuff here. But look at this. 2 independent forensic pathologists asked to review images and x-rays said the injuries were consistent with bullets, not shrapnel, and likely distant shots to the head and neck with military ammunition. There's one little girl, she looks to me to be about maybe 8 years old, and basically her head nearly blown off. Quote, in all likelihood, these are distant shots aimed at the head and or neck with military ammunition, says forensic pathologist Wim van de Voorde. emeritus professor at the University of Leuven. It's another, looks to me to be like maybe a 12-year-old.
It seems, too, that they're purposely, these type injuries, all the organs from the neck down are, well, they're fine, And there has been stories over the years of, Palestinian and other people's organs ending up on the black market. I cannot confirm nor deny those stories, but I do believe them, because this, matter of fact, let me read Wisdom of Solomon 12:5, and it reads, also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feast of blood. So we all know about, the adrenal thing, the child trafficking, the tunnels in the gutters and under the places of worship. Yeah, we're aware of that.
Who was shot in the neck here, and you could see the bullet on the right in the X-ray that is lodged in there. Forensic pathologist Frank Van de Goot, on the X-rays, I see children's heads with bullets inside. The bullets must have lots of energy on the way. Must have lost a lot of energy on the way, because children have thinner skulls than adults, and otherwise they would have gone straight through. So these children were shot from long range. So in other words, the IDF soldiers have this game that they play from a distance, maybe 300, 400 yards or more, and they shoot at these kids and they hit them. And since it was from so far away, the bullets get stuck in their heads. They get stuck. A former Dutch army commander, Mart de Kroof, is quoted saying the chance of 100 plus cases being accidental is nil, given the concentration of wounds to the head and heart versus overall body surface. Beyond gunshots, 9 doctors describe patients with injuries from tiny cube cylinder metal fragments causing catastrophic internal damage. One surgeon says he recovered fragments. He provided recovered fragments to the ICC for analysis. This girl was hit by metal fragments, possibly from fragmentation of weapons. The metal entered her nose and went straight through her head. She did not survive, so this girl died from internal bleeding.
These pieces
Multiple
of shit.
doctors recount eyewitnesses attributing fire to IDF snipers or armed drones. The IDF declined to answer questions on shooting at children and says it does not possess or use fragmentation weapons. The doctors face an impossible choice: speak out about what they witnessed and risk being barred from ever returning to Gaza, according to the UN. Since March 2025, Israel has denied entry to 100 plus foreign health workers, usually without explanation, because those foreign health workers come back and explain to people what they saw. They explain how innocent people were getting their legs shot off on a daily basis and their arms shot off on a daily basis and their heads shot off on a daily basis. They explain how the IDF plays these sick, sadistic games. They explain how when people are going to, aid distribution sites, all of a sudden, whenever people go to aid distribution sites, they get a swell of 50 new cases of people being injured or killed.
Arms, limbs, legs, children, headshots. Someone's keeping score. These are sick, demonic people masquerading as the people of the Lord. And you got a lot of Edomite Christians here in America that support them. America is demonic, and that place is demonic. These people are not the people of the Lord. This is Ezekiel 35. And it reads, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And that's what the fuck I'm doing. I'm prophesying against Mount Seir. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord, Power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate, and I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time when their iniquity had an end. So when we were at the end of our punishment, they increased the punishment and the death and the bloodshed. Like you said, two Jakes were just hung. One, he had broken bones before he got hung. So yeah, so this guy with broken bones hung himself from a tree in the middle of a, yeah. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountain with his slain men, and in thy hills and in thy valleys and all thy rivers shall they fall, they are slain with the sword. And I will make them a perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. So basically, Edomites run and control the world, and every place that they have control over will be made desolate. With that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekaha Kodash, Kwam Yasarala, Abad Babal.